Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to RLCS Overtime. This is your Midseason Mayhem recap show, and we are so excited to be bringing you this action here today. I am your host, Wave Punk. I got a findable carpet here. I got a Gibbs. I got a Lawler. We got all sorts of people here today, guys. How you doing?
I'm really upset I lost my hard hat.
You lost your hard hat?
It's gone.
Where did you do with it?
How do you lose a hard hat?
You had
Shogun,
it just this weekend.
I'm pretty sure Shogun melted it down.
Is it in revenge for Timmy
Melted it down
Duck?
for what?
In revenge for Timmy the Duck.
We'll find out later.
Yeah, but just throw it away. You don't have to melt it down.
Shogun is serious.
Shogun is a savage.
He's a vindictive man.
He's plotting something.
He is very, very serious about this, but it was a great day of North American action this past weekend. We got to see so much cool stuff happen, and we got to break down the qualifiers here. The qualifiers, not that, the quarterfinals.
The tournament.
Quarterfinals is what I want. Yes, it was a single elimination bracket. Everyone in North America got to play. We could take a look at how those quarterfinals went. 4 teams came out winners, 4 teams went home. That's how single elimination brackets work.
That's true. Tied for 5th, you walk away with $250. And then if you won that, you basically got another $1,000 on top of it. Here's the bracket here. We saw Denial get the early upset, 3-1, Set to Destroy. It was a bad date, but they almost pulled out the date, losing in 5.
The best part of that series was the popcorn. Hands down.
Oh, man.
Carpet. I know you were a big fan of that popcorn. Couldn't eat it, but you did anyway.
I ate popcorn at the desk, at the caster desk, at the booth. I ate it here at the desk, and then Axel wasn't sitting here for a period of time while he was off. I think I don't know what he had to do, but I came over and stole his popcorn and ate all of it, and he came back. He's like, where'd my popcorn go?
My favorite part was that Leaf, after the show, got a popcorn kernel stuck in his throat, and so he picked up your Brisk helmet and actually drank the Brisk out of the helmet to get rid of the popcorn kernel from your carnival date. That's an actual thing that happened, folks. I'm not making that up.
It was like zip tied in. It wasn't going anywhere, so he didn't know what to do. So he had to take the tubes out, cap the Brisk again, uncap the other one, and then drink the entire helmet.
Oh my
Did
goodness.
it wrong.
Well, let's get into the quarterfinals, folks. There were 4 matches. They were exciting. Set to Destroy almost made it through, but we started off the day with Atelier versus Denial.
And of course, it was Midseason Mayhem, so first game was Drop Shot. It was a lot of fun to see these pros on basically a brand new game mode. It came out, 3 weeks ago? So it was a lot of fun to see how these players would adapt, and just seeing tiles fall away to open up these giant goals was a lot of fun.
My favorite part about it is that no matter what, every single ball is a threat. It starts at phase 1, so it can deal a bit of damage, and it just gets even harder and stronger as it goes on. And every single ball in Drop Shot is going to be just a serious threat.
We've been giving Corrupted G a lot of crap about his cars. His car looked much better in the series, had the 20XX decal. It's pretty great.
Yeah, fantastic. But obviously, we had a sub coming in for Selfless. We saw Pluto popping off, playing out of his mind. He really carried the team all the way up until later games. But we'll get to that.
No spoilers.
We expected him to be big in Drop Shot, but it was the Rumble games that we saw Pluto really
he
show
played
up.
extremely well there. He scored both goals in the 2 Rumble games that they played. Both games were 1-0, very low scoring Rumble games compared to some of the others we saw later in the day.
Gibbs, did you just say no spoilers, even though we just prefaced this with a bracket showing everything?
Well, he didn't spoil anything there, and people don't pay attention. We've seen it in Twitch chat before.
No spoilers. You've seen the final results, but
no spoilers though. No spoilers.
A lot of people don't know how to read.
But hey, so the next match was NRG versus G2, the battle of the undefeated teams. NRG walked away from this one 3-0, sweeping G2, who were the reigning champions from North America. They did not make it out of round 1 this year.
And it was a lot of fun to actually cast a game, so I got to cast the NRG versus G2, but then NRG was using Get Merked, but then they swept him, so my casting career ended pretty short.
The next match, Genesis versus Take 3. They take that one in 3 games as well. Goodbye, Take 3. Genesis moved on.
A lot of 3-0 sweeps, surprisingly, and Genesis, a team that came in pretty confident. I said it during the broadcast, but Classics, right off the bat, as soon as he came into the chat. He came into the RLCS chat and said, by the way, everyone, don't worry, I'm going to win this. But, spoilers, I'll hold off.
Yeah, not only did he come to the chat and assert dominance, but he also did it on the field somehow. For them to 3-0 teams that we considered some of the best, obviously Midseason Mayhem's always super weird, and this proved it yet again.
I mean, it was Drop Shot and then Rumble and then whatever, So there was no way you can prepare for 4 different alternate modes that they didn't even find out about till Wednesday, So hard stuff there for the teams that did not win, but they're out. We moved on to the semifinals. It was Denial taking on Selfless. Ultimately, Selfless would get the 3-1 victory.
And once again, Pluto showing up big, and it wasn't just a substitute. Miho purposely sat out to give Pluto some love. All 4 of them are really close, so it's nice to see a team, a 4-man roster, working really well together.
And just in general, I mean, to have Pluto as your sub, Like, what a
that's
cool
crazy.
thing to have. Like, most subs are people that just haven't had a lot of competitive experience. And to say, oh, by the way, my substitute is Pluto. That was the sickest team play I've ever seen.
That boot to open up the goal for Timmy.
We talk a lot about Timmy being a weekend warrior and how he can only play weekends, and it makes me happy to know that they're allowing Pluto to play in situations like this, because if it comes down to the end where he's not able to play for whatever the reason, they've got a person that's not only a seasoned vet who's been to both lands, but also someone who's gotten some play time during the season, which is huge.
Yep, good backup there. But the other semifinal, NRG versus Genesis. It would be Genesis moving on. Surprisingly, everyone kind of expected NRG just because they're NRG, but nope, 3-0 sweep again from Genesis.
And even NRG put on the hard hats for this game, it was not enough. Jacob actually didn't have a hard hat for game one, and I think that was the reason why they lost.
Yep, of course.
Chrome actually doing a shout out to my car, the beautiful yellow Octane with the hard hat, so I think that's why they won.
The homage to the elderly. It's important.
It is. Got to respect your elders.
Gotta respect the old boys.
Does he have to respect himself then, because he is one of the elders in those seats?
I don't respect myself at all.
He doesn't respect anybody. Have you heard him talk ever?
Well, no,
He trashes everything.
Chrome's the old one. He's the old man.
Oh, Chrome
That's true.
himself.
Chrome is the old man.
I thought you were talking about me. 'Cause
Both too, but
That's why you guys are such good friends.
yeah.
yeah,
good.
me and Chrome.
Yeah.
both
You guys
sit
just
on
in
the
the Rocket
porch.
League nursing home, just sitting out front, looking at the
just play
kids.
chess in the
sit on the
park.
porch, telling them to get off your field.
Yeah.
Just making fun of the little kid who's mowing the lawn. Back in my day, we had octanes and
Sure.
Good attempt.
some stuff like that. We're going to move on from this bit right now. Finals were what came up. Selfless versus Genesis. It was a battle for the ages, but Genesis were your North American Midseason Mayhem champions.
And Genesis did not go full G2. They went up 2-0, but if they would have swept the entire tournament, G2 didn't make playoffs last time they did that. So Genesis, I'm going to say they threw the Snow Day match, and then they went on to win Game 4 and clinched the title that Classics called before the whole tournament.
If Genesis does really struggle as well, to have the weird pattern of the team that wins Midseason Mayhem is a team that doesn't make it to playoffs, if we can actually have that pattern, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Why are we talking about this? This is not a pattern yet, okay? This has happened one time.
If it happens again, it'll then be how many?
Okay, remember, we can't talk about NRG being the cursed team when they didn't have the exact same thing happen in both lands. Remember, we were like, oh, they're the cursed team, but then they weren't because they made it past the.
They still haven't beat a European team, though.
They
at
still.
LAN.
That's true.
So they still have that.
I mean,
to
not many
go
NA
over.
teams have.
If Genesis
That's
doesn't
true.
make it, if Genesis doesn't make it to playoffs, then we've got a pattern.
That's what Carpenter
Yeah, that's
said.
what I said.
but we don't get it. We're talking about it like it's happened.
But
No,
we
I
got to
was
see
saying
Snow
I would
Day.
love to see the pattern.
Look
We
at the
did.
Snow Day arena. Utopia looks so beautiful. It's Christmas in April. I love seeing it.
I was kind of sad we didn't see actually the DFH Snow Day. The icy one.
It's
yeah,
so
see
bright
it.
though. I mean,
is.
it's pretty, but it blinds you. When you play that map at like 3 in the morning when you're supposed to go to bed,
It's realistic.
it wakes you up.
What- Who's supposed to go to bed at 3 a.m.? It's 5 a.m. Easy.
Gibbs,
Yeah.
how happy were you to see Cosmic?
That's why you play till
And also Chrome scoring that goal right there.
Yeah,
It was
that
basically
looked
like
like
my
you.
old days.
There it is, right there.
You.
It was like 30 years ago, but I remember it like yesterday.
Remember, like,
Oh my goodness. That was Gibbs you just got to see there on camera, not Chrome. Anyways, so top 5, let's just go to top 6 plays for North America.
Mayhem.
Crazy stuff.
Mayhem.
Mayhem. We just, you know what? We don't need no rules. We can do a top 6 plays if we want to. Here we go. Gonna be starting it off with Zane Jackie.
And here we go, starting off, we had some tornado plays here. This wasn't even a goal. It wasn't much of anything, except Zane Jackie just getting dribbled into his own net, or to the opposite net from Insolences. It just shows how the tornado can be a lot of fun to just mess up players.
I mean, just all the plays this weekend were pretty insane. You don't get to see this very often, and this team play right here, following through with the boot, he's just essentially part of the Red Sea for his ally. He's like, here you go. Don't worry, just keep driving straight. He slowed down out of precaution. He's like, I got you, man. He just shoved him in the net, and there's the team play.
And one thing that you're going to notice here, a lot of Rumble plays, because we get to see normies all the time. There was some good normie goals, but here's the one and only drop shot play, I think, in the top 4.
Yeah, old man coming in with a fantastic play. You thought, like, this game was really back and forth, but for them to make the save and then have it bounce around the way they did, after all that pressure, it didn't matter. Like, the crazy thing about pro players and drop shot is look how many touches are made before that hits the ground and actually, like, takes damage.
And then right after that, the tier 3 damage to prime all those
my
tiles.
goodness.
Oh, with the turtle magnet goal. We
Here
all
we
saw it.
go.
We all remember this. He gets disrupted in the air.
Space
Stops
Jam,
us
man.
Just letting this
Disrupting
speak for
people.
itself. That was crazy.
You can disrupt people, just disrupt the right ones, but never
Yes.
somebody that's about to have full control. And a magnet while you're flying is one of the most unpredictable things. And then you give him infinite,
How do you read
unlet
that?
goable boost.
Yeah, but as a goalie, you just can't read how
you
that
gonna
Mac
do?
is going to
Yeah.
play at all.
There's two things going on there you're not used to. He has unlimited boost that he can't let go of, and a magnet.
And then we see here, Insolence is trying to make it through with the spike, getting a little bit of an assist there. I can't remember who actually haymakered it though, but pushing his own team. Oh, it was Chrome. It was me.
Look at that. It was Gibbs. It was
you go.
Gibbs in his alternate
And it
younger
was
life
upper
form.
90. It was a
Oh,
beautiful
my goodness.
shot.
But the play everybody was talking about the whole weekend, we had never seen this before. Lawler, you were calling this.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. We see like spike plays. Everybody knows how telegraphed it is seeing spikes come out. Like
Right.
everybody waits for it, but nobody waits for the spike to spike pass play. Like obviously, it's totally
What is this?
calculated, even with the Moy afterwards.
I love that the auto cam even like on the replay it got confused. Like, wait, did they pass? it was, and then the camera follows along. Like, okay, I guess we're going that way now. That was crazy.
It was
So
cool to
excited
see
to
a
get in your papers.
handoff.
Yeah, it was just going all over the place.
What I would have actually liked to see is if the second player was still stuck to the ball as he drove
they
along.
both went?
They both
the
went,
car on
and he
top.
was still
Just a
stuck on the
sandwich?
outside, and he was, a little like sandwich, only one person, and they could like flip over and change drivers. That'd be pretty great.
You just boost up to the ceiling, and the other guy's driving on the ceiling now. Something like that.
Double
would be-
boost, too.
That would be crazy. But mid-season mayhem for North America was so much fun. We had a great time. But now, looking forward to next week, we're transitioning back to normal, regular play. We can take a look at the standings as they stood after the last week of play. And the teams, still two undefeated teams right now in North America, NRG and G2 gunning for those top two spots.
And Selfless, they began that day last week 4-0 and then lost both their games. So their top two hopes are starting to die. But really close at the bottom as well. Genesis, Take 3, Denial, they're all right there fighting for two spots out of those three teams.
And the key spots are top two and bottom two. The top two get an auto qualifier essentially to LAN because they will get a bye in that first bracket, and the bottom two don't even make it at all. So those are the key spots to keep an eye out for. And then everyone that knows they won't make those spots are going to be fighting for those middle ground spots to make sure they're at least not ejected before playoffs.
Yeah, and we have 2 more weeks of league play left. This upcoming weekend and the one immediately following it, and we have playoff implications both this week and next week. So as we look forward at the schedule for this week, the matches that are coming up, we're going to start off with G2 facing off, taking their last match from, or taking Set to Destroy's last game of the season, as they are already done. Gibbs, what are the playoff implications for this week of play?
So we don't have a ton yet, but Set to Destroy, they are done. So it doesn't matter what they do in this game. But G2, if they go 2-0, and then NRG goes 2-0, or just beat Selfless, then G2 is in, and if NRG goes 2-0 by themselves, top two for both of them, I should say, not just in playoffs, they are going to the World Championships. So we could have both teams locked up, and I would say it's pretty reasonable to think that those two teams are so dominant right now that they could both go 2-0.
So is there a situation for Selfless? This is the last game they are playing. This is the last week for them. They have a bye week in the final week, and so they will either end at best 5-2. Is there a situation at that scoreline where they can qualify for the top two?
Yes, they have to beat NRG and then hope that NRG beats G2 later and then hope for some tiebreaks there. But of course, like G2 and NRG, they still have 4 games left, so they don't necessarily finish with 5 wins, but those are the two teams that you expect to be up there. So if they do get 5 wins, they have a chance. It's still a little bit rough, but that's their only chance. They have to win that game.
I mean, I look at the opposite side of the bracket. You look at that Genesis Take 3 game. Those two teams are both 1 and 2. Tiebreaker potential towards that bottom. Those fifth and sixth place spots are going to be in contention really bad.
Yeah, those matches are going to kind of decide themselves as to where they go. And that's the big thing, like we said, bottom two is also the other situation we're looking at right now. If you're in the bottom two, you are done for the season. You don't get to play in the playoffs. So it's going to be exciting to see who is going to make it and who is going to be out. We will find out some of those answers maybe next week, but for all things North America, that's going to do it right here. We're going to be recapping Europe when we're done here, and we're going to go take a break real fast. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.